All right, let's dive into a story that kicks off with a seemingly simple, quiet life and then just spirals into this insane world of secret agencies, hidden family legacies, and a betrayal so deep it changes absolutely everything. So, it all starts with this one line. It's found on this old piece of paper tucked inside a plain envelope. No stamp, no return address, nothing. Just this really cryptic, almost beautiful message that shows up on the doorstep of a young woman who really thought she had left her past behind for good. This message, it's like a stone tossed into the calm lake of her new life, and the ripples are about to turn into a full-blown tidal wave. This isn't just some mysterious note. It's her past, and it's knocking on her door, refusing to be ignored. So our protagonist is just having a totally normal Saturday morning. Chores, singing along to some music, and then this letter shows up and just shatters everything. Her entire peaceful world, the one she fought so hard to build after walking away from a really painful past, is about to be taken apart piece by piece. She just can't let it go, right? Her curiosity gets the best of her. She remembers this strange phone call from earlier in the day and decides to get it traced. And the name that comes back, it hits her like a ton of bricks. Germaine, a name tied to so many memories she has fought so hard to bury. So, who is this Germaine guy? Well, he's pretty much the ghost from her past. The man she once loved, the man she had to flee from, and now the man who is pulling her right back into the very world she was so desperate to escape. Their whole story, it's kind of tragic, really. They met, they fell hard. But his life was just tangled up in all this underground violent stuff. Street battles, you name it. The last straw for her was finding him bloodied and barely conscious in his own home. He'd promised her he'd leave that life, but he didn't. So for her own sanity and her own safety, she walked away. But of course, here he is again, and when he finally gets her on the phone, he's not really asking for forgiveness. He's just begging her to meet him, to trust him one last time, promising that there's a vital truth she deserves to know. I mean, it's a cliffhanger. How can you resist that? And so, she goes. She actually meets him at the lake, just like the note said. And this is where the story just completely flips on its head. The truth he has for her isn't really about him at all. It's about someone way, way closer to home. See? Germaine's about to basically rewrite her entire history. That violent attack that broke them up, the one that made her believe he was just hopelessly caught up in street wars and sent her running for the hills. Yeah, turns out it wasn't random at all. It was planned. And here is the first massive layer of deceit. The person who ordered that attack, the one who orchestrated their entire breakup from the shadows, was our protagonist's own sister, Annie. The one person on Earth she thought she could always trust. But why? Why would her own sister do something so twisted? Well, Annie's reasoning was that she didn't think Germaine was good enough and she wanted to control her sister's life. But it gets even darker. Annie now runs her own criminal enterprise, an escort business, and is fueled by this really deep, intense hatred of men. So this wasn't about protection. It was about possession and cruelty. And if you think that's a shocking betrayal, buckle up. Because it turns out that's just the tip of the iceberg. Germaine reveals that the secrets go so much deeper than just a messed up romance, pulling her into a world she never, ever knew existed. Remember her dad, who was absent for most of her childhood? The reason he was always gone wasn't some boring business trip. He was a spy. All those years, all those long absences, they were missions. Suddenly, her entire family history is a lie. And he wasn't just any spy. He was part of a secret organization called the Brotherhood. Think of it as, well, kind of like a CIA, but it was specifically formed by Black professionals abroad to gain power and, honestly, just to survive in the face of some brutal racism. It was their way of protecting their own. Okay, so where does Germaine fit into all of this? Well, get this. Her father sent him. His original mission wasn't to date her, it was to protect her from a distance. The only problem was, he messed up. He fell in love with her for real, left the spy life, which of course stripped him of all his protection, and left them both completely exposed. And that danger is very, very real now. See, Annie's criminal dealings have ticked off a seriously powerful mafia. And they're not just after Annie anymore. They're coming for her entire family. By siding with the protagonist, Germaine has basically painted a huge target on both of their backs. They're caught in a war they never even started. So now they're on the run for their lives, which leads us to this insane, explosive climax where every single secret that's left is about to be violently dragged out into the open. They barely escape. We're talking car chases, gunfire, the whole deal. And they make it to this supposed safe house on Dodie Island. They think they can finally catch their breath for a second. But who shows up? Annie. And she's holding the last few devastating pieces of the puzzle. First bombshell she drops. Their father, he didn't just work for the Brotherhood. He wasn't just an agent. He founded the entire organization. He built it from the ground up before faking his own death just to escape it. And right after that, she drops this one. He left everything, his files, his codes, all of his secrets to her. She isn't just his daughter. She is his chosen successor. She's the heir to a secret legacy and a hidden war she never even knew existed. But Annie, she saves the most personal, most gut-wrenching betrayal for last. She turns to Germaine and reveals the final, crushing truth. It wasn't their father who hired him. It was her. Annie hired Germaine to get close to her sister. Their entire relationship, from the very first moment they met, was a lie. It was an assignment. And in that moment of just absolute devastation as she's reeling from the weight of it all, a single red dot, a laser sight, appears on Germaine's chest. The very last thing she hears is her sister's terrified shriek, "Get down." And that's where the story leaves us hanging. The lover who lied, the sister who manipulated everything, and a legacy of espionage she never asked for. With her entire reality shattered and everyone she trusted revealed as just a player in some secret game, the final question is, who does she become now?